All right, a lot of people that are liberal leaning or left leaning and fairly educated people are asking me, why am I supporting Trump? They act surprised because when we speak, I speak about the topics that are on a fairly advanced level and I express a fairly decent vocabulary and stuff like that. And it seems like a lot of people that are from the upper middle class who are liberal leaning and fairly educated individuals are finding Trump as intellectually an unacceptable choice. And to a point, I can understand that. However, to another point, um, the alternatives on the Democrat side are equally, in my case, even more so intellectually acceptable choices. So therefore, that is why Trump is the best choice. Because despite the fact that Trump has problems uh, of respecting the Fourth Amendment uh, and infringing of people on people's liberties, there is a necessity for a strong response on the Islamic violence that is widespread not only in this country but uh, at the planet at large. Often I hear the sentiment, not all Muslims are bad. There's 1.7 billion Muslims. Well, I agree. Not all Muslims are bad. They are human. They are primarily people too. But Islam in general is bad, and the reason why not all Muslims are bad is because they're human first and Muslims second. And there is something that is called biological morality, something that is indoctrinated into our very soul that comes from the mere fact that we are human and there is some goodness in us that overrides any kind of ridiculous, ignorant, barbaric, misogynistic, and other form of bigotry that come through Islamic indoctrination. And I find that way of thinking very dangerous. Uh, Islam, and on that note, I think Islam as a cult should be forbidden because all speech is protected except the speech that calls for violence. In Islamic religion and Quran itself is a okay. It's a hate book. Therefore, hate book. I can accept to to approve the liberties of the First Amendment to someone who uses hate speech. No problem. Every speech should be allowed. But there is one thing that is not protected by the First Amendment, and that is call for violence. And Quran, by its very nature, calls for violence, and as such, it should be um, it shouldn't be protected by the First Amendment. Now, should the Quran be banned? No, I think everyone should read it. That's the primary thing that I tell to the people that are very sympathetic of Muslims because they have Muslim friends. Well, guess what? I have ex-Muslim friends, and I respect them very much. And there are certain problems that come with Islam that other religions don't have. Like ask any Muslim what should be a punishment for apostasy, and if you get the answer, and in majority of cases you will get the answer that that the punishment for apostasy should be death, then you know what kind of a person you're dealing with. That's the value system that they're coming from, and as such, Islamic value system is barbaric. That's that's what I can say as an educated academician, someone who uses logic, philosophy, and critical way of thinking to come to healthy conclusions. Um, Being a person that's not very religious in the sense that I don't follow church and that I'm very much against it in a calmer way than I am with Islam. I'm comparing Christianity and Islam. Um, I can say that it is our imperative to criticize and ridicule uh, these religious sentiments. And we, as free thinkers and freedom loving people, and above all, truth loving people, should never allow bigoted way of thinking to overcome our senses. And we should never allow our emotions to be played in order to adjust our thinking to the Islamically adjusted reality where we will tolerate their bullshit. Crime is crime, and criminal is a criminal, and there is no adjusting that in order to appease to the religious sentiments. I don't give a fuck about your religious sentiments. Your religious sentiments are insulting to me. And quite honestly, they are a crime that in its purest form. Murdering other people, beheading them, putting them on fire, and all that good stuff that Islam's full of is not something that we should tolerate. It's something that we need to openly speak against, and that's something that Trump caught. He's saying what mainstream media and the left and liberal thinkers of U.S., which are educated people, are afraid to say because they're succumbing to their emotion. And emotions have nothing to do with reasoning. Hence, I don't like to fall into a trap of emotional thinking that comes with the liberal leaning political thought. That's why I think it's insane to reward intolerance with tolerance. Those just don't match. The only thing we need to do is to uphold our laws, uphold the Constitution, and enable the environment where critical thinking and persecution of violence will be active. We shouldn't stand and tolerate any kind of aggression. Quite the contrary. So, on the left side, we have Bernie Sanders, which doesn't have a very solid political path, as it's very oriented against the rich. Um, there is an open discussion about the redistribution of wealth. Redistribution of wealth means that you take something from someone and give it to someone else, which is not how I'm raised. It's not my value. My value is that when you want something, you go out there and get it, and it's not government's job to take it away from you. I came from the system that had that kind of thinking, and I didn't appreciate it. I didn't like it. Hence, I wanted to live in a country where private property is respected. And one day when you have a house and when you own something, there is no government that's going to come there and take it away from you. And now I understand a lot of people will feel, hey, but this is only for the rich people. Well, the law kind of wiggles, and once you start making these exceptions on one level, they tend to translate top bottom. And at one point, it can become a nationwide, all levels strategy. So I'm very cautious when I'm choosing the path on in the direction of which will happen when it comes the first time that I will be able to vote in USA, and that's going to be this year, and I'll be happily casting my ballots to Trump, because the alternative on the Democrat side is not there, and also if we are lucky enough not to end up with religious Ted Cruz or corrupt Marco Rubio, or God forbid another Bush, uh, then I'll be in a position to express my thought. And quite honestly, I'm also sick and tired of listening to politically correct crap all the time just because somebody finds my speech offensive. Fuck you. To all those people that think that my speech is offensive, fuck you. That's all I can say. I don't really care about your feelings. And if you were insulting me with the way you speak, and you often do, I just walk away. I don't listen to your crap. And that's the same. That the same goes for all the people that are listening to me now. You don't like what I'm saying. You don't think it fits your narrative. It's insulting you. You know, there's like poof, X on the browser. You shut the YouTube down, and puff, I'm gone. And that's what I do with all the people that don't have an ounce of brain that is worthy of my time. And I encourage you to do the same. That's it.